You are listening to the Certified Personal Trainer Podcast, a show by personal trainers for personal trainers. It's time to become a better trainer, get more clients, and change more lives. And now, here's your host, the head coach and founder of Fitness Mentors, Eddie Lester.
Hey guys, welcome to Fitness Mentors Certified Personal Trainer Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Lester, and I'm very excited to be back with another episode today. So, today I really wanted to talk to you guys about when should a personal trainer raise their prices. And this is a very common, we'll say, question that I get with a lot of our trainers here at Fitness Mentors. So let's go ahead and jump right into this particular topic. When we think about raising our prices as a personal trainer, it's something that needs to happen. So when we start off as a personal trainer, it's very common that we charge either whatever the gym tells us to charge, or whatever the gym charges and they pay us a cut of that or a fee. Or it's you start off on your own, maybe training some friends and family for a smaller amount of money, and then you look to gain experience from that and then grow your prices from there. So inside of a gym, you may increase your prices when you hit certain milestones, like you have trained 150 sessions, so that gym therefore raises the price of your rate, or you have, we'll say, moved up a tier as far as how long you've been with the gym, or how many hours or training sessions you performed, different things like that. And then also when you are a private trainer and setting your own prices, you can increase your prices based on a lot of different factors. But I wanted today to talk about a few specific reasons, or we'll say times in which you should start to raise your prices. So the first one I'm going to get into is the basics of supply and demand. And this is something I experienced in my earlier training career, is when I did not have a lot of clients or a lot of, we'll say, demand from people wanting to work with me, my prices were lower. So to basically put it simply, when I had 3 or 4 clients that I was training, I wasn't charging a lot because I was looking to get more clients at that same rate. And this kind of, in my confidence level, was like, oh yeah, I'll take people for a cheaper rate because I want to fill up my book of customers in that sense. What happened with that is eventually I slowly built up my book of customers. So my demand was therefore starting to increase. When I got to the point, and this is, we'll say, I was charging, $25 to $30 a session in the beginning, just kind of in that sense, just trying to build up a book of customers. And eventually, as my demand increased, I realized, I don't really want to train more people because I actually have a pretty large amount of work. I would like to make more money. So this was a direct reason why I raised my prices for all new customers. And this, if you want to raise your prices for your current customers, you absolutely can, but I chose to raise my prices for new customers. And I actually had so many clients that I doubled my rate for new customers. Because I was confident, because I gained experience from training all those people at the $25 to $30 range. And then B, because I just wanted to make more money. And I didn't need a quick client. I didn't need another client immediately. So I was going through new client consultations, and I was pitching the $60 rate as opposed to the $30 rate. And I started to get customers at the $60 rate. And this really helped me to grow my confidence. And because I was then starting to train more and more people at the $60 rate, I had to talk to my older clients and told them that I am going to raise their rates too. So the first simple task, or the first simple example of when you should raise your rates, is when your demand grows. If you want to charge $100 an hour, well, let's put it this way. If you want to make, $6,000 a month, and you want to work, we'll say, 10 hours a week, in order to make $6,000 a month at 10 hours a week, you need to charge $150 per session. Pretty simple. That would be 10 hours times $150 per hour is $1,500. Total hours in a week times 4 is about $6,000. So when we think about the income that we want to achieve, we kind of can go backwards from there. But if I'm starting out as a trainer that's charging $30 an hour and I want to make $6,000, I'm going to have to train, quick math, put myself on the spot, somewhere around, 30 to get to 600. So I would need to train somewhere around, and we'll say too much. It'd be about over 80 hours. That should have been way easier. 50 hours per week. 50 hours per week at $30 per hour would get me to $6,000 per month. So you see we'll say, differences there. When we think about what we want to make per month, and then we think about our demand, that's when we can start to think about, exactly how much we want to charge. And let's say we start at that $30, but we want to move to that $150 per session over time. The simplest thing that you need to do is for every new client or every 2 to 3 months, whatever it may be, you need to start charging a little bit more per session. When that happens, that allows you to slowly increase your income and also potentially train less hours to make the same amount of money. So the first example that I gave was supply demand. That's when you should raise your rates, is because the demand of people wanting to work with you is higher. Also, that is greatly dependent on your experience. So this comes to my second, we'll say, example of when you should raise your rates as a personal trainer. And that second example is when your experience grows. So it really walks hand in hand with the last example. But when you gain experience and your confidence grows, that should absolutely move the needle as far as what you charge per session. So here at Fitness Mentors, when we have trainers say are saying that they want to start out charging, $30 to $50 per session, that's great. We say go for it, because eventually they're going to grow in confidence about training people. And when they're confident that they can get people to their fitness goals, that confidence immediately demands that you raise your prices, because you are starting to become more and more of an expert at what you do. So that's going to be really that second example. You should raise your prices when your confidence grows relating to working with people. A third example is when you increase your education or add a new service. So when you add a new service to your, we'll say, repertoire of services, that increases your value. So if you add that new service and creates a lot more value with your client sessions, that's when you should absolutely raise your prices. Maybe you added that extra service through adding education to your background. This is another example. The fourth example is when you take an education course that increases your knowledge and allows you to provide your service better, or add a new service, you should absolutely raise your prices. So when we think about the 4 examples, it's supply demand. You also have your confidence level, when your confidence goes up. You also have when you add a new service, and then also when you increase your education. So these 4 specific tips are really going to be the main reasons that you should know why and or when you're going to increase the amount that you charge. Now we can get significantly more into this, but I wanted to keep this one short and sweet, because where are you at right now? Are you still charging the same rate that you did a year ago? Are you still charging the same people the same rate from 2 to 5 years ago? How long have you had your clients? Start to think really about where you're at in your career path. What are your career goals? What are your income goals? And work backwards. A final example that I'll give is, let's say you want to get to $10,000 per month. You want to be a 6-figure trainer, and let's say you do this 100% in person. You need to train 100 sessions a month at $100 per session to make $10,000 in 1 month. So that seems pretty simple. If you were to break that up into a weekly basis, that would be 25 hours per week. That is very, very achievable for the private trainer. If you're in a gym, that's going to be significantly harder, because you can't charge, or we'll say there's a gym split there that you might not be able to take home all of that money. So this is where, when we start to think about the six-figure trainer, if you're focused solely on in-person training, scaling an online business is something that we teach here at Fitness Mentors, but we're not a part of this particular conversation. If you want to do that, that is kind of what you need to hit. Okay, but now let's set a realistic goal right now. If you have a pen and paper or take out your phone, I want you to think about this right now. How much do you want to make this, or we'll say per month, meaning, or maybe per year even. And let's break that per year amount into a monthly, we'll say, revenue. So if you want to make $72,000 per year, you're going to need to make $6,000 per month. Okay, so that's $6,000 per month. What are you currently charging? Okay, so go ahead and write down, what are you currently charging per session? If you're a private trainer, what are you currently charging per session? Okay, now take that number and then divide it into 6,000. So if 6,000 and you have 30 specific, $30 per session, you're going to need to train how many sessions? So it'd be 200 per month at that rate. Very difficult to do. So then what you need to do is be like, okay, well, how much would I need to charge to work the same amount of hours that I'm working right now and make $6,000? So now take the $6,000 that you want to make per month and divide it into the number of hours that you're working now per month. So let's say you work 100 hours per month currently, or 100 sessions per month you're training. So if you divide that into 6,000, you're going to get $60 per session that you need to make, or that $60 per session is the wage you need to charge, or the amount you need to charge your clients per hour in order to hit your $6,000 goal. So when do you want to make that $6,000 is the next question. Do you want to make it in 3 months? Do you want to make it next year? When do you want to do that? Because wherever your difference is from what you're charging now towards what you're going to be, or what you need to charge to hit your goal, you need to fill that gap by raising your prices. When should you raise your prices? Based on those first 4 examples that I gave you. All right, guys. Well, I hope that information really helped kind of clarify, where you're at, where you want to go, what your income goals are, and then really, what your career goals are relating to personal training. Now, there's a whole other talk about adding services outside of what takes up your time that is very important to the future of your career and the future of personal training in general, because we know you can help a lot more people online, or add services like that, like online coaching, that could potentially raise your income in other ways too. But really what we talk about on this podcast often is, how can you do the thing that works best for you? So determine what you want to do, where you want to spend your time. Do you want to spend all your time with your clients in person, or would you rather spend some programming on a computer and helping people all over the world? You decide how to build your career, and we're here to help you do it. So with that, I'm signing off. Thanks so much for checking out the Certified Personal Trainer podcast, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.
As always, thanks for listening to the Certified Personal Trainer podcast. You can learn more about Fitness Mentors at fitnessmentors.com. Be sure to share this podcast on social media. And remember, we are here to help you succeed.